Can you please?
Excuse me, everyone. Can everyone please clear this area? Please clear this area now. The closing ceremony is starting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you so much. Everyone, please clear this area now. Please clear this area now. I have it. It's there. Please clear this area now. Everyone, we would need to start the ceremony as we have a very tight schedule. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so we sit down.
Great, thank you so much.
This is what I wanted to.
Thank you.
We'll take it to the office. Yes. Victor. Okay, this mic, just one picture, okay? Just one.
Can everyone please take a seat now? Can we ask everyone to please take a seat? Thank you very much. Can you please take a seat now? Now. No pictures. No, you had your... Now, please sit down now.
And then, such a case, for example, you might be still working something like that. You have the second one. Okay, we're gonna have to.
Everyone, please sit down now. Wait. Please, everyone, take a seat. We are starting the ceremony. Please take a seat. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Please take your seats. We'd like to begin. And welcoming everyone again. Hello. Youthful faces of COY. My name is Victor, and I'm from Hungary.
And I'm Maria Auma from Uganda, Africa.
So, are we having a good time here today? Yes? Right. We are really honored to have some special guests here today with us, and we'd like to introduce them and later hear from them their perspective. So we'd like to introduce them. Maria?
Yes. Okay, yes. So with us we have Her Excellency Miss Maria Fernanda Espinosa, the President of the UN General Assembly. And then we have His Excellency Mr. Mikhail Kutyaka, the President of COP24. And we also have Her Excellency Ms. Patricia Espinosa, the Executive Secretary of the UNFCCC.
Furthermore, we have the mayor of the city of Katowice here today with us, Dr. Marcin Krupa. As well as Professor Tomasz Pietrzykowski. So we're looking forward to hear our guests today, and also to the rest of this closing ceremony. So we are excited, but are you guys excited? Yes. Okay, concrete yes. And at this point,
yes. So at this point, I would like to call Krzysztof Tabura to come and give us a brief presentation from the COY 14 team. Please come.
Hello everyone. So I would like to welcome you again for the last time. And I feel that this time flew through these few days, because 2 days ago we have seen everyone here in this room at the opening ceremony, and now the time has come to finish such a fruitful conference of youth. Therefore, on behalf of our entire team, I would like to take this opportunity and a little of your time to acknowledge key entitles who were essential on making this conference a success. So first of all, I would like to thank you, the authorities and employees of the University of Silesia, who provide us with the all help we need to organize this event. Especially Rector of the University, Professor Tomasz Pietrzykowski, Mrs. Agnieszka Dunaj, and Ms. Emilia Wieczorkowska. Thank you. Thanks also to Maciej Malik, who found the first few person to create such a great team. And of course, our fantastic coordinator, the head here, Teresa Boydo. Believe me or not, but without her, everything would have collapsed after a few days, so thank you. And of course, a big thank to all of our fantastic volunteers who work hard for such a long time, sometimes until up at night. Thank you, guys. But we are most grateful to you, all the participants of Conference of You, because the COY team just create kind of framework, and you guys, with all your energy, great ideas, and huge commitment, you just made this event unique and wonderful. Thank you. So I hope our special guests will take this positive message, this energy, and many of your ideas, and will take it like 500 meters from this building to the COP24, to all these decision makers. Whilst I hope it was a really productive and great time here in Katowice, so we prepare for you a small surprise, kind of like a movie souvenir, from these last 3 days in Katowice. But first, I have some special thanks for Clara, Jurgatna, and Safran from Yango, because they working with us from very beginning with great dedication. So thank you guys. Come here, come here. Thank you for all your cooperation and understanding. And we have some special gifts from you, for you. Come on, guys.
So moving on, the idea with COY is to have it as a back-to-back event with the COP, and to have a concrete outcome coming from your work, from your efforts here at COY that will feed into the COP24. And therefore, we have the younger working groups who are identifying the different workflows of the negotiations. And at this point, we'd like to hear these final outcomes of the younger working groups. And I call our beloved focal points, younger focal points, Jugratna and Clara, to present these policy outcomes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. So one of the primary objectives of convening the COY altogether is to prepare Yango to be able to constructively and meaningfully feed into climate negotiations and the upcoming COP, obviously. So in last 3 days, we have had young people from different parts of the world come together and really work on the specifics of negotiating items, analyze the text that is under consideration for development of PAWP, and they have developed for over a 47-page long policy paper that comprises over all negotiating items under COP24, and a copy of which has been presented to our high-level guests present here. We would be gradually going down to present you some of the outcomes in a very brief summary format.
Yes, and I therefore call on stage the speakers of the respective working groups. First, that would be adaptation. Emily.
During the last couple of days, members of the adaptation working group, both those present here and those working from afar away, have been working hard on developing our position for the COP24. A clear takeaway from this collaborative and learning experience has been the urgency for adaptation. The effects of climate change are real now, felt by many of our working group members. They are part of their everyday life. Our policy position covers 5 key adaptation themes that are going to be covered during the COP24. First, we call for a balance and synergy between mitigation and adaptation actions. It is unfair how mitigation often gets more attention than adaptation. It represents how inputs from the Global South and indigenous communities, the most affected by the current effects of climate change, are not as heard and as valued. In addition, the interrelation between these two areas needs to be stressed and incorporated into the respective actions. Second, we ask for flexible and robust guidelines for reporting on adaptation. We emphasize how we need holistic and comprehensive approach to vulnerability. Third, we stress how the work of the Adaptation Fund needs to center the most vulnerable nations and communities, promoting county ownership and small-scale projects. Fourth, we want funding plans for less developing countries and small island states to include collaboration between different actors and levels in government. And fifth, we emphasize how the tracking of national adaptation plans needs to include policies and ground-level projects. We encourage participatory, inclusive, and bottom-up initiatives. On a last note, I reiterate how adaptation cannot be postponed. It needs to be prioritized, it needs to be collaborative, and it needs to be holistic and participatory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily. Abdallah, for Mitigation Working Group.
Hi. I'm Abdallah from Mitigation Working Group. We will be negotiation many technical points these next 2 weeks. We need a registry for NDCs and adaptation communications that are equipped with quick and easy search functions. We especially have to make sure that NDCs are clear, transparent, and understandable. Considering aviation and maritime transport, we want to have we want to have a transparent accounting and emission reduction targets for each sector. We believe targets of aviation should also be set in terms of absolute emission reduction. And also we shouldn't solely rely on carbon offsetting. While the present agenda items are essential, we must always keep the urgency of the situation in mind. The IPCC 1.5 degrees special report highlighted that we have very little time left to take action and limit dramatic impact on our climate system. We need a radical shift in the economics and a lifestyle of developed countries. If we don't, these dramatic changes will be forced upon us. A situation as extreme as ours demands rapid and significant action. All parties must raise their ambition in order to respect their engagement with the Paris Agreement and to protect our future. Thank you.
And thank you very much. Climate Finance Working Group, Tia.
Dear honorable guests, fellow participants and friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Thea from Hong Kong, and I'm part of the Yango Finance and Market Working Group. So we would like to address climate finance related issues, especially on its definition, environmental integrity, transparency, and accountability of climate finance. The definition of climate finance has not been standardized internationally in the realm of this convention. Yango's definition in climate finance is in more general terms, which is refinancing climate initiatives and the involvement of currency exchange in carbon credit form based on what is stated in the Paris Agreement, Kyoto Protocol, and Standing Committee on Finance. We would like to call upon all parties to focus on environmental integrity, transparency, and accountability in their commitments to climate finance. It is our opinion that consistent and transparent reporting and monitoring must be part of the Paris Agreement in order to share best practices as well as to ensure each party is contributing in its fair share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We continue with Gender Working Group. And there she comes.
Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joanita Babire from Uganda, and representing the Gender Working Group. It's fundamental to recognize that women and girls are the most vulnerable and victims of climate change. As various countries from around the world converge to develop strategies and action plans to push the climate action forward, it is mandatory to ensure that these are fully gender responsive and they take into account girls' and women's specific needs. Women must be consulted as they are the experts on their needs, and involving them is not only a right but also an obligation. Therefore, UNFCCC and all negotiations at regional, national, and local levels should be gender balanced. Assistance for women through financing, training, and education programs are needed in order to prepare them for the negotiations. Communication is also important to empower women actions around the world. Encouraging women to be part of these crucial discussions will surely lead to genuine contribution to the success of the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Thank you.
Renewable Energy Working Group.
Hi, my name is Shakil from Malaysia, and I'm from the Renewable Energy Working Group. Energy is used in many forms to uplift quality of life. Electricity offers high quality of energy for day-to-day functions and therefore has the highest demand. However, Africa, Asia, and South America together have close to 1.2 billion people without access to electricity. Therefore, the biggest challenge in these regions is providing an affordable and sustainable energy source while maximizing energy integration. According to the UN Secretary General's report on progress towards the SDGs, progress in every area of sustainable energy falls short of what is needed to achieve SDG 7. The increase of people getting access to electricity is slowing down, and if this trend is not reversed, projections are that the world will only reach 92% electrification by 2030, still short of universal access. Hence, many, mostly rural dwellers, still function without electricity. Accelerating progress towards SDGs in an inclusive manner for people and planet will require more political and financial commitment, in addition to paradigm shifts in the economy, behavior, and scaling of climate-sensitive technologies. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Siavash, and I'm from Afghanistan. On behalf of Agriculture Working Group, let me make this clear for you all that agriculture and climate change are directly interrelated to each other. Therefore, Yango wants Koroni via joint work on agriculture not only to be a formal negotiation process, but we recommend that clear and ambitious guidelines come out of the expert meetings and workshops so that ground-level farming communities could be benefiting from this. Also, a swift change towards a plant-based diet, small-scale and ecological farming to reduce emissions and ensure food security should be at the center of these negotiations. Since ground-level experience and expertise of young people really could bring better decisions, we highly recommend that youth with expertise as well as young farmers like me be included in national and international policy-making level. Thank you very much.
Hello. We wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone and take a family group picture with everyone. So we move down here and then the photographers can go up there.
And kindly request everybody to just stand up for a brief moment and then
up?
We can sit down once the photo is taken. Yeah, here? Okay, Clara?
What do we do? Yeah? Big smile, everyone. Big smile. Yes. Okay. Yoo-hoo. Okay, thank you, everyone. You do. You would speak next.
Thank you, everyone. We request the photographers to, our photographer colleagues to please allow us to have the next. We request the photographer colleagues to facilitate this space. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Again, my dear youth colleagues, it is a big honor for Yongo to welcome a very esteemed guest among us, and it is for the first time that her office has participated and kindly accepted our invitation to join COY. We have the President of the UN General Assembly, Ms. Maria Fernando Espinosa Garcia from Ecuador, and she was elected as the President of the 73rd General Assembly in June 2018. She has served formerly for over 20 years in different multilateral processes within the auspices of United Nations. She was the former chair of G77 in China in UNFCCC context until April 2018, and has also served in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ecuador. She has a research background and was also an assistant professor in her early days of the career. It is our pleasure to welcome you, Ms. Espinosa, and we would like to invite you and to hear some short remarks from you. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon to all of you. Let me, of course, acknowledge the presence here of the president of the COP. Very, very happy to see you and the engagement of yourself personally and of Poland and your country. It's not a minor thing just to think that it's the third time that Poland hosts a conference of the parties of the UNCCC. That really shows the leadership and the commitment of your country. Also to acknowledge the presence of the mayor of Katowice. Thank you for hosting us, and thank you also for your commitment to climate. I would like to also, if you allow me, to send a big hug from here to an old friend and a champion of climate, a wonderful woman from Latin America, Patricia Espinosa, the Executive Secretary of UNCCC. And of course, to say hello to all of you and to congratulate you for the wonderful work that you've been doing. And I'm not saying this because I want to be politically correct. It is because I have seen with my own eyes for more than 10 years the transformative role of youth in climate negotiations. I have seen you work. I have seen you, building together with member states. I have seen you shaping, the results and the outcomes of different COPs. I have sat with you in different capacities as minister, as chair of the G77. Always, I was sitting in several of the meetings with you because I think where the energy comes from in COPs, where creativity, where commitment with freshness is basically from you. So I thank Younger for inviting me. The truth is that I just arrived from New York. I landed, I changed very quickly, and I came here just to say how much we appreciate your active involvement, your participation in the climate agenda, in the climate negotiations. And I can confirm once again how important your engagement, your involvement and active participation is for the climate commitments. In listening, in a very simple way, we heard all the working groups come and just say 3 or 4 phrases. And that's the climate agenda. You just shaped the climate agenda and, the climate promises under which we need to deliver during these 2 weeks. It's so encouraging, it's so important that you prepare us for the COPs and the days to come. When I see, your platform on adaptation, your ideas on climate finance, your recommendations regarding transparency, predictability of climate finance, the gender and the role of women and girls in the climate agenda, and also the interconnected relationship between climate, agriculture, and food security and food sovereignty. It really, you are shaping the climate agenda in a way. So I just, my team is going to kill me because I had like a 10-page speech to deliver to you, but to be very honest, there is nothing that I can tell you that you don't know about climate. You know much better than we do. You read, what can I tell you about the last IPCC report? What can I tell you about the UN Environment report on the carbon emissions gap, carbon gap, I was going to say, on the emissions gap. What can I tell you? What can I tell you of the World Meteorological Organization information about issues of the rising of temperatures, of, you know, really all the information, the data is out there. We all know it. So something is missing, something we need to act and act now. I heard you saying, when is that we need to act? We need to act, and we need to act urgently and now, because the information, the science is telling us that we are on the verge of disappearing as a species, and we are on the verge of, you know, making the Earth, planet Earth, disappearing. They always tell me, and I said to some of your friends before, because we had a roundtable conversation, they, my friends that are not that convinced, they say, well, you environmentalists, you're so negative. You're always talking about negative things, that the world is going to end very soon. The reality is that it's true. I mean, the climate is one of the major threats of humanity nowadays, and we need to act, and to act now. So my hope is that after Katowice, we will bring home our homework, and our homework is a very strong program of work for the Paris Agreement, and we need to commit ourselves to deliver on that. I am the president of 193 states, and my presence here among you, but here at the COP, is precisely to make a strong and a bold call that with regard to a strong, robust program of work of the Paris Agreement. It is about time, after 3 years of the Paris Agreement. I was also there, and I also saw, you know, all the, you know, youth gathering, you know, in the corridors, lobbying, generating ideas. So please do not stop doing that. Do not stop doing the awareness you need to do. Do not stop taking part, active part on the negotiations. Do not stop talking to your governments. Do not stop coming with these very creative, powerful ideas, and do not stop being this transformative power that you are. So thank you very much for your work, for your engagement, for your commitment, and for allowing us to dream collectively. We have a collective dream, and the collective dream is to build sustainable and equitable and humane societies. So thank you very much.
We have a token of appreciation from the COY 14 organizing team for Madam President and the University of Silesia. Thank you, Madam President. And Yango really looks forward to be working with you, especially with the upcoming SG Summit on Climate Change. Now we have the honor of welcoming Executive Secretary of UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, Ms. Patricia Espinosa, to deliver short remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and let me start by thanking everyone that has made this COY possible once again. Let me start by our Polish hosts, to Michał Kurtyka, and also the whole team in the Ministry of Environment, who have been really working extremely hard. You cannot imagine how much work goes into organizing this. Of course, the mayor of Katowice, thank you very much. You have also been engaging with us for months and months and months. I want to also thank the wonderful people of Katowice and of Poland for receiving us, and to the University of Silesia. Thank you so much for giving your facilities so that this wonderful group of young people could meet and could have hopefully also fun together. So could I have a round of applause for our Polish host? And thank you, of course, to all of you who made the long way from different parts of the world to come and spend time working, reflecting, exchanging on the issue that the Secretary General has qualified as the most important threat, the most important challenge for humanity, and the first priority of the United Nations. Maria Fernanda, thank you for being here. Your presence here underlines the importance of this issue in the international agenda. Thank you also for your leadership. Maria Fernanda and myself, I have had the privilege to be her friend for many years. She has held also very, very important positions as Foreign Minister, Environment Minister, Minister of Defense. So we really, really are very lucky to have you here. Thank you for your inspiring words. So it's always a pleasure to come and see you. And this is, for me, always one of the highlights for COPs. The Conference of Youth is energizing and always full of great ideas, as we have seen, and thank you for providing this. I'm sure that the President will bring this to the attention of all the parties to the Convention and the Paris Agreement. Because we really need this energy and your ideas now more than ever. Never have the impacts of climate change been more evident. So I'm not going to start rhyming off a long list of numbers and statistics to you, because as Maria Fernanda was saying, you are all extremely knowledgeable, and we just heard your summaries of the working groups, and it's very evident that you know all of it. And you would not be here if you didn't already understand the issue and have a burning passion to change the way things are right now. So let's start there, and let's begin with reality. Right now, on the surface, things don't look good. The North and the South poles are melting, the sea coral is dying, the oceans are rising, and much more. Saying that gives me a mix of emotions, from disappointment and sad that unchecked climate change has remained unchecked for so long, to extremely frightened for the future. Not just my future, but your futures and the future of my children as well, because I am a parent too. Because climate change does not exist in a vacuum. It's what we call a threat multiplier. This means it has the potential to take almost every other major challenge humanity faces and make them worse. This includes issues such as poverty, migration, gender equality, and much more. It also threatens to reverse significant gains humanity has made in recent years to address some of those issues. For example, life expectancy has increased more than 20 years in the past half-century. Death rates in children under 5 have decreased, and the total number of people living in extreme poverty has fallen by 700 million people over the past 30 years. But climate change could change all that. We need to reverse this course, all of us, at all levels. One of the most significant things we can do is make a more serious effort to make a transition to cleaner, more renewable forms of energy, as you all have seen in the working group on renewable energy. And many of the world's biggest companies are doing just that. We've seen incredible growth in electric cars. Never has solar and wind power been more popular or profitable. But for every step forward on the climate change front, we take 2 steps back. For example, in 2016, 825 billion was invested in fossil fuels and high emission sectors. Now we must be realistic. Fossil fuels will remain part of the energy mix for some time. There must be a transition period to more renewable forms of energy. The point is, we need to make that transition more quickly, much more quickly than we are now. Your generation will largely be the ones driving this transition, and you will need to both build upon today's solutions, but also develop your own. This includes, but it's not restricted to, influencing that transition towards renewable energy takes place as soon as possible. Combined, this can influence the energy market globally. It can just be a matter of fighting against. You must have something you're fighting for. I know many of you are angry. I get angry too, and frustrated as well. But I also know this energy is better directed towards a bigger and more positive purpose. That means developing a vision for the future. Again, something to work towards. It can be as individual and unique as you are, but one that motivates positive and lasting change. For example, here's my vision. My vision is to help build a world that is more resilient, sustainable, and prosperous for all. One where we have put the brakes on runaway climate change and have helped others adapt to the impacts already here. Let me talk about that prosperous bit, because you may think I'm only talking about the economy. And yes, we certainly want people to be economically comfortable. But prosperity is about more than just money. Prosperity is about respecting and protecting the complete circle of life that contributes to planet Earth, from plankton to people, from animals to our atmosphere. My vision is a positive one because I believe it is entirely achievable. Because while climate change is frightening, it also represents an enormous opportunity. And you are in an enviable position. Never have so many had the opportunity to change so much by addressing climate change and gain so much by doing so. The phrase, "you can change the world," has been around for many generations, but never has there been a generation that can make it come true like yours. The IPCC special report tells us we still have a chance to limit climate change to 1.5 degrees. It will be difficult, incredibly difficult to meet this goal, but it can be done. But it must be done quickly and by all levels of society. It's not a 2 or 3 year fight. It's the fight of a lifetime. And it will be fought not by people my age, but by people like you. So when I say we need your energy, I'm not kidding. Let me put it this way. We don't want you to be the spark. We need you to be the flame. We need you to be the flame of hope, but also the flame that lights a fire under the rear ends of political and business leaders and any other kind of person we call a leader, myself included, to make sure we achieve our climate goals and to make sure we enhance climate action that is sufficient to achieve these goals. It cannot simply be business as usual anymore. The train has left the station. These are different times. These are extraordinary times. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, today I told you my vision and how we can achieve it. But what about you? What's your vision? What drives you forward? Maybe it came out of this conference. But if it has not, begin by asking yourself this question. What do you want tomorrow to be? Is it a world where we live under a shroud of pollution, where we barricade ourselves fearful of each cloud that passes over? Or is it a future where we have transformed the way we live, made the transition to more renewable forms of energy, and have truly built a society and economy for the 21st century? Is it a world where climate change has acted as a domino, taken almost every other major challenge humanity faces, such as poverty, security, and equality, and made them worse? Or is it a world where, because we've reigned in a runaway climate change, we've also addressed those challenges? The question of what you want tomorrow to be is a question only you can answer. I hope what we have discussed today and what you have heard at this conference will help motivate you to do at least two things. First, to put the pressure on your political leaders, as I said earlier. Don't be afraid to make your voices heard. It is your right. Climate change is threatening your future. And second, follow vision with action. Get your hands dirty. Take your ideas and what you have heard here back to your communities and your cities. Get organizing. Talk to your friends and family. Organize climate action events. Most of all, keep thinking about what kind of tomorrow you want, and then go out and make it happen. Tough times call not only for tough leaders, but smart ones. I look at this audience and I see both. And it gives me absolute confidence that my vision, a positive vision for the future, is the right one. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Executive Secretary. Again, a very brief token of appreciation from the university and COY 14 organizing team. And Yungo, we are very pleased to have you. Thank you. Tasked with the responsibility of ensuring a successful delivery of the work program of Paris Agreement is the presidency of COP24, the Polish government. And it really has not been a very simple process, as we know. Starting right from the May negotiations, there was a need felt to have another round of negotiations in Bangkok. And the co-chairs especially worked on different sets and also on the text tools, and the negotiation process itself has been very complicated. In all this, the leadership taking the baton forward has been the COP24 presidency, together with the agenda of just transition. In this COY, we also worked on what we call as the Children and Youth Declaration on Just Transition to demonstrate solidarity with the vision, not just of the COP24 presidency, but also of this very concept of just transition that calls for rights of laborers and how to make the process of moving from conventional sources of energy to renewable sources of energy effective, and at the same time in a way that benefits the communities, and especially young people who are going to face many choices and challenges when it comes to taking green jobs or choosing careers in light of the implementation of Paris Agreement and broader picture. With this, we are very pleased to have with us the President-designate and of COP24. I think we could call him the President of COP24 now, because the COP starts tomorrow, Mr. Michal Kurteka from Government of Poland. And we are also, I also like to invite the members of the Younger Bottom Lining team, Heatha and McLaren's, to present him the declaration on just transition that we have been working on in COY. Our relationship with Mr. President started, I think, sometime in Bangkok when we had the first bilateral. So now we would like to have a more, intimate bilateral, and we would be glad if you could address the youth participants here with your remarks.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Dear friends, you are great. Sometimes when I have some sleepless nights, and it happens right now, because I'm trying to imagine how to put this into practice. It's a little bit bigger, the one that we are working on, but nevertheless, it is quite a challenging task to run a COP. It's a unique task in one's life, so you would understand that I sometimes have some sleepless nights. And then when I'm at home, it happens rarely recently, but when I wake up and I see my daughter, who is 4 years old, and I say to myself, so that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I have today a second reason. You are. Because it is really great to have your enthusiasm, your commitment, your engagement, and having a selfie also is so young. So I'm very happy, very pleased to be with you, really. I feel already as COP president, because that's the true beginning of the COP. So, so I wanted. I'm very happy with the messages which has been delivered by Maria Fernanda and Patricia. And Patricia is extremely professional and extremely engaged in the process since very many years. This is already a couple of months that we are working together. Maria Fernanda, it's the first time that we have the pleasure to meet, but I know that you have also experience in the climate process. So that's great. And I think that both explained to you very well what we are working on and how much important it is, and how much heart we need to put in it, how much oneself we need to put in it. But what I wanted to share with you, it's rather a personal story, because I see many of you are under 20. Who is under 20, by the way? Yes, quite a lot. Who is studying still? Quite a lot as well. So when I remember when I was young, and let me come back to my young time when I was under 20, right now I'm 45, I was living in Kraków, not so far from here. I was born in a city of Pope, in a city which has a millennial history, but which was extremely environmentally polluted. And when I was born in this city, it was a very sad city also. I don't know whether you had opportunity to visit Kraków recently, but it's a very open, nice, touristic city, living 24 hours. But when I was young and I was coming back from school at 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, it was completely dark. So my young time were marked very much by the divide east-west. And when I moved back to 30 years ago, 1988, I recall this city. I ask myself the question, how the world will be looking like in 30 years from now? What is your experience of your cities, of your villages, of your universities, of your homes, of the work places where you are, and how it will be different from the world of today? And let me share with you the fact that I never dreamt in my life that it will change so much. And for my country, for Poland, and for myself, it was a positive change. So we do not anymore talk about this divide, east-west. There are many other divides that we are talking still about, north-south, developing, developed. We could enumerate that. But that's also linked with a very nice poem. I would like to ask you to look for it, which was done by Wisława Szymborska. It's a Polish poet. She is a Nobel Prize, and she said that we are different just as 2 drops of water are. So a COP is a place where we can find how much different we are as 2 drops of water. And when you think of it, you know that they are all the same. And so we are all the same. We are living on the same planet. We are sharing the same dreams of peaceful, prosperous, better future for ourselves, for our children, for you. And I think that you are bringing this message of hope to COP24, and I'm very thankful for that. But you are also bringing the message of justice. I heard you saying climate justice. It is one of the most important leitmotifs for me also in my life. Because when there is justice, then there is this fundamental pillars on which we can build. And we need to introduce this justice also into this text we are discussing. Because we are not the same. We are different as 2 drops of water. But some of us have issues linked with mitigation. Some of us with adaptation. Some of us are lacking technologies. Some of us are lacking money. Some of us have the challenge of changing the regions. Some of us have this difficulty about how to combine different objectives in one coherent policy, how to combat hunger, how to make sure that we have also fighting with energy poverty, how to preserve gender equality, how to preserve human rights, how to oppose ourselves to wars, injustices that are so still present in the world. So this is extremely difficult, but this is what is action about. And I would like to thank you very much because, as Patricia said, you are moving us. You are making us moving forward, because otherwise if there was no you, it would not make any sense for older people to work. For what purpose? So your action is extremely important, is being heard, is being listened to, and is having an impact. So my message is the message of hope, is the message of justice, but it's a message of action. And so I had really a great pleasure to listen to all what you said already regarding how much what we should introduce into the Katowice rulebook. But I can share with my older colleagues that already the rulebook is nearly ready. They have only to adopt it, and we will have 2 nice weeks ahead of us. So that would be really a great perspective, and I will certainly share it with them. And I would like to ask you also to use this time in Katowice so to make it an unforgettable experience to change your life. Because again, my experience from my life, a little bit older, I was not 17 at that time. I was something like 40. When you are 40, you start to think about everything. And I started to think about my dreams. And so it was extremely complicated, because you think, when you are thinking about dreams, you think about, I don't know, $1 million yachts, etc. But when I dig a little bit deep inside of me, that was not the case. I don't need $1 million. What I wanted is to have a trip with my boys, with my children, in the mountains. It's not a very complicated dream. And so I realized it, and that was a great change in my life, because I realized that dreams can be made true, and the only thing is to have them. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. So my kind ask would be here in Katowice, profit from every minute, every second of this journey, make it an unforgettable experience for you, and have a lot of dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kurtaka. We have the rector of the university and COY 14 team again to present you a gratitude gift.
And now, hearing from the local perspective, we often hear that cities are in the front lines of climate change. And we have today here with us the mayor of the city of Katowice, Dr. Marcin Krupa.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a mayor of this city, Katowice city. I think that the city every time changing. We change all, the city, but especially the environment, because you know, we was the coal city in the past, but now I think we will be to be clean city, green city, city for the future, for the all person, for the all people who will be live here. I have young children, boy and girl, and I would like for them good climate here and in the world. Climate change concerns not only us, but also future generation. That's why I am truly grateful that you, young people from the different corners of the world, have come to Katowice to talk about our common future. I know that you have had fruitful discussion and fruitful debates about various issues. I'm deeply convinced that your work is an important step on the way to prevent climate change. Probably in 10 or 20 years, it is you as presidents, as prime ministers, as ministers of your countries who will make important decisions in this area. I wish you all the best in your activities, and I hope that you bring nice memories from our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those amazing words. And now we're having them give him a gift. Yes, and now to give the closing remarks, we'd like to invite the Vice Rector, Mr. Pitrikowski. Please come on stage.
distinguished guests, my younger colleagues, please let me at the end of your conference just once again thank you very, very much for your participation. Thank all organizers for the effort they put into everything here. We really appreciate the fact that you have chosen our university and trusted us to help you to organize everything here. But I would like to thank you also for something else. As a university teacher, I would like to thank you for this amazing lesson of civic activity, of this invaluable university of how young but already mature citizens approach the reality around us. This is something that the ordinary teachers, ordinary university is not able to do. You did a great job, and on behalf of all our students, all our teachers, please let me express our deepest gratitude for what you have shown us here in Katowice. I hope you had a good time here, and I really hope that at least with some of you we will have an opportunity to meet again, hopefully in a climate not worse than the one we had this year here in Silesia. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best.
Sincere gratitude to the university for having us here, having the COY, the global COY here. But let's curve it back to the local scale. Who of you have heard of local COYs, L-COYs? Okay. So as you may know, these L-COYs takes place throughout the year, and this year there have been a number of awesome L-COYs. And I think we already heard about them a lot throughout these few days. So now I'd like to invite some of the L-COY organizers, Siddhartha and Lennart, to give us an intro of what's going on the local scale.
Thank you, Victor. And I can tell it's worth staying for these couple of words about young people who met all around the world to fight climate change. Niklas Svensson. Please, it's worth listening to this. Niklas Svensson in the opening ceremony said that we need young people now more than ever, because we need to do the nitty-gritty work, we need to implement, we need to work in the countries, and this is something that is already going on. This is something that 20 L-COYs were doing this year in 19 different countries, sorry. And we communicated throughout the year with each other. We sat together for 2 hours, just before this closing ceremony, and planned how we can work together, how we can help each other, how we can empower each other. And we want to give you some insights of what we did throughout the year and what we are planning for next year and how you can get involved in that.
The Conference of Youth as we know it, COY. The Conference of Youth as we know it, COY, is not only an annual event, it's continuous work of dedicated people. And for a year, we've been exchanging mails, calls, and today, as we said, we sat for 3 hours speaking of strong emotions, strong feelings, and outcome that came out of COYs, different COYs around the world. For us, those youth have incredible motivation. They are our source of inspiration. You are a source of inspiration. We need to come together, to work together, to create more open spaces, and to be able to reach goals that we have set. Those local COYs are proof that climate change might be a reality in different ways in different countries, but we all need to come together to fight for this cause.
What's the way forward? In a second, I just find it very important that, yeah, we came together there at these different 20 places, and we're coming together now here and form this community. And really, climate change also gives us the opportunity to feel as young people,
This is not necessarily something we identified with before, like we have our nationalities, but now we really feel like a group. I do. Like we had these individual alcohols and crazy things happened there. Like, I mean, I've only been to 2, but like what I saw from the one in Austria, for example, how they formed a community and created action from that. And I really ask you to think about these people who are not here yet, who are not coming to the Global Conference of Youth, but stay in these countries and who are active, and to be encouraged by this. Keep these people in mind. These are thousands of people who are searching for solutions on the ground, and this is one community. We can form a community of young people beyond this physical space we are meeting here. So keep these people who are active in mind when you are searching for solutions in your individual lives. But yeah, how we are moving forward. So there's a lot that we can still improve about alcohol. So we discussed and we sat together, and the most important part is that we want to make it easier for other people to organize alcohols, to use this opportunity to bring the people in their country together, to be stronger, to influence the national policies, to do grassroots movements. So the first thing is really that we thought we want to work on the website, the same website as for the one where you also saw the program, conference-off-youth.org, and put the information for how you can organize an alcohol on there. You can find the information for these alcohols of this year already there, and I encourage you, go there, look at the pictures, look at our outcomes, contact us, look at the contact details, but also look on there in January and February when there will be more information how you can organize an alcohol.
There's also a Facebook page, Alcoys, that you can always join so that you can always know how to go ahead with a COY. A lot came out from different COYs, and what we think would be the best way is to communicate. So our communication channels are important. We think as we work together, as we work forward for a better future, we need to be able to have honest conversations. We need to be able to address the issue as easily as possible, because climate change might be a complicated word, might have technical terms, but we need to break it down for youth to be able to understand those.
Yeah, we have, one second, we wanted, so you said this with the press release, we wanted to create a YouTube channel where you can look together, where you can look at what we were doing. And yeah, just further keeping this message in mind for Niklas Svensson, that we need to look at implementation on action on the ground. We want to close this, this short introduction just of alcohols by really looking at the people who were involved in these alcohols. We already mentioned the Facebook group, we already mentioned the website where you can get in touch with us, but of course you can also just get in touch with us and talk with us if you're interested in action on the ground, if you're interested in organizing an alcohol. So you can at any time approach us, but also, and this is something we would like to ask all the people who organized the alcohols this year, to please stand up, show who you are, gain this applause for this work that you did throughout the year, but also just show that you are there to be approached, to be worked together with. And while standing up, we want to show you also a short video that we made just like an hour ago to give you an impression of what we feel about what alcohols are to us in 2018. So yeah, please stand up. Everyone who worked on alcohols this year, show who you are.
Okay, guys. Again, thank you very much for everyone. But this moment has come through to us. I think I would say sleepless nights, sleepless conversations with two particular individuals in this hall who are here. And one is the best, I would say, on communicating and getting this all these logistical matters sorted out in COY here for the global COY, since there was no NGOs here from Yango list. So therefore, I would like to invite Agnieszka here to get the, on behalf of the Yango and the team, thank you very much, Agnieszka. A heartfelt thank you for everything and for making this happen in a very short period of time. Thank you very much.
And we brought you some Plant for the Planet chocolate. Thank you so much for all your great work. You were our hero from the university, and we thank your university as well very much for hosting us.
And now, the Students' Council and another precious person here, Teresa, for taking this lead in a very short period of time of transition. And again, working with them was very, very, for us to be difficult with all the logisticals and arrangement. And I would like to invite Teresa, thank you very much, and the whole team, the volunteers, and the whole Students' Council here, and for bringing this up, Magic, and also the President of the Students' Council. Thank you very much, and a present from the Yango team and COY team. Thank you very much, Teresa.
Yes, so this has been a really amazing session. I don't know what you all think. Have you enjoyed the session? Have you enjoyed your time at COY? Okay, so remember that when we had the opening ceremony, we asked you to turn to your neighbor and ask them what their expectations were. So now we're going to do the same thing, but differently. So just turn to your neighbor and ask them whether they met their expectations and what they're planning to do after this COY. That should be about 3 to 5 minutes.
All right, putting an end to these conversations. Maybe some of you have something to share, right? Something to share? How did you feel at COY? Were the expectations met? Wants to say, yeah? Yeah?
So yes, my expectations were met. It was my first time coming to a COY, and it was really cool to see all those people from all over the world bringing their experience and the situation in their local cities or areas, and you could share everything, and also propositions for the future. So yeah, it was really great being here.
Nice. So would you do a COY again?
Yes.
Wherever it is, you would go, right?
Yes.
Great answer. You want to say something too? Okay.
I want to say something, but in Arabic, and we'll translate it again, okay? So, it is a verse of song, okay? Okay? Song Arabic, okay? الحياة 100,000 صوت شوف كل صوت جايلك منين اللي يكون أقرب لقلبك اتبعه قلبك يلين وعلي دايما صوت ضميرك علي دايما صوت ضميرك شوف صداه واصل لفين.
Thank you so much for this. I'm not sure if we can answer to this. Translation. You want to give the translation? Someone can? I can give a maybe not a translation, but I think we can give a response. So can you remind us what do we want? And when do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Exactly right now. And please everything that you're taking from this place, from COY, take these things back home and take those friendships home that you have made here, and keep doing the organized work that you might be already doing as student groups, as members of youth NGOs, and get the word out. And those of you who are going also to the COP, how many of you are going to the COP? Whoa, it's gonna be a youthful crowd at the COP, at the Youngo Spokes Council meetings in the mornings, right? And that's where we're gonna continue. And for those who are not coming to the COP, you may already know that Youngo is a completely open process, and you can become a Youngo member remotely. You don't have to be in the COP to be part of Youngo processes and to contribute to Youngo's work. So please contact those from Youngo, contact us, and we're so happy to have you part of that process. And please keep spreading the word. We need to get to 1.5 to stay alive. Exactly. Thank you so much to everyone, and yeah, let's continue the celebration. Cheers.